Hi everyone, welcome to another Lent devotional. The other weekend we were up at the Zile Canal, which is a few minutes walk away from our house, enjoying the fact that it was frozen over. We can't personally skate, but we enjoyed walking on the ice. And of course, for many people, it was skater's paradise. Well worth the wait, I guess, for the ice to be thick enough. One of the things that struck us was that if we'd wanted to, we could have walked across to the other side. The other day, I was sat on a bench looking across the Zile. Of course, now no ice. And I was looking to the other side, and it struck me if I wanted to go over, I'd need a boat or perhaps swim, which struck me as a rather cold option at that moment. Though a shaggy white dog loved it. It ran into the water and had a wonderful swim. A third alternative would be to take the ferry, which leaves just a few meters away from where I was sat. But in that case, I'd have to wait because it's not available until the 1st of April. Waiting. How do we respond to the whole idea of waiting? Perhaps it depends on what we're waiting for, or having waited, whether it was worth the wait, like the ice was for the skaters. During this pandemic time, probably we've done more than our fair share of waiting, wearing a mask on a platform, waiting for a train, waiting for more deliveries to come at home, having ordered things online, perhaps more than we did before the pandemic, waiting for the results of a COVID test, waiting for more restrictions to ease up. And in many cases, though I can't personally empathize, waiting to have our hair cut. Hopefully for those who've been able to do so, it's been worth the wait, or at least some kind of relief on the weight on their heads. Lent. Lent is a period of preparation for Easter, but in a way we could also say it's a waiting time before Good Friday and Easter Day come. Of course, we don't know exactly what our services are going to look like this year, just as we had that same question in 2020. There is a waiting, if you like, even in terms of our being able to worship together again fully in person. Waiting. What might that look like in our lives, in our following of God in these coming weeks, to build in waiting? What does that even mean? Listen to these words from Psalm 33. We wait in hope for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. In him our hearts rejoice, for we trust in his holy name. May your unfailing love be with us, Lord, even as we put our hope in you. Some crossover there in the words to our theme last week of hope. And as I said last week, Jesus' disciples had great hope that Jesus was the Messiah, the one that the people had been waiting for, in fact, waiting for a long time. Now, indeed, he was the one waited for, but as the cross showed, not in the way that they had expected. I think of the two followers on the road to Emmaus that Luke tells us about in chapter 24 of his gospel. They were walking along and a stranger who was a stranger to them joined them. They didn't realize it was Christ. They didn't realize Christ was alive. At one stage, they said this: we had hoped he was the one who was going to redeem Israel. But yet, of course, Jesus was alive, and the redemption waited for was coming. It was coming through Christ, but not in a way that they had expected. Not what they expected, but worth the wait. And such redemption, of course, is continuing to change lives throughout the world, even now in 2021, even during this ongoing pandemic. Has there been disappointment with waiting in our lives? And I don't just mean a delivery not coming on time or a friend not showing up. But what about hopes and dreams? Things even we sense the Lord had showed us for our lives. Has even the pandemic, lockdown, and so on seemingly made the waiting sort of come to an abrupt end, perhaps, or made the waiting seem pointless? Are we willing to wait afresh this Lent time, to put our hope in God for his answer or guidance or assurance, peace, insight, or whatever it is we've been waiting for? Or if we feel we can't do that, to be honest and open with someone about it and say, I really just find this whole idea of waiting before God just weird. Perhaps you just think waiting before God, I don't know what that means. Again, who could you reach out to and talk about that together? Can we trust, as it says in his words, in his unfailing love? Even if, like for the disciples in the Gospels, what we perceive we're waiting for and what we actually receive are not always the same. I admit I don't always find waiting easy. Maybe even saying that might in itself be an encouragement to someone else who's listening. So draw towards a close. I want us to consider this Lent 2021 in the midst of lockdown, in having to wait, that we might all keep looking to the Lord. As I've already hinted at, we may not be sure what that means. So let's be open with others. But I want to encourage us to not give up on waiting. And even if we're personally doing okay and we think, yeah, we're all right on this whole waiting thing, who else could we pray for? Who could we reach out to who maybe is struggling? And for us all, what about praying for those in war zones and other oppressive situations around the world who must be wondering if their waiting for peace or relief is ever going to come? I finished these few minutes about waiting with some other words of encouragement from a different psalm, this time Psalm 27. I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. As we carry on our journey through Lent towards Easter, I hope something in these words about waiting is an encouragement for each one of us. Thanks for watching.